Hi, I'm Chandler Klebs, and I've been thinking some strange thoughts recently. And the best way when I have all these thoughts is just to speak in a video about what I'm thinking about, because I'll probably forget what I'm thinking. But anyway, to the point, I've been really thinking about this long-standing debate that I've sort of had with. I've been having sort of an email debate with my friend George. Um, but this is something that was going on a long time, not just with George, but my other co-hosts. This whole happiness versus truth thing. This idea about truth being important, but it also being important for people to be happy and experience pleasure and avoid pain. And sometimes these things are in conflict. And I mean, I get why people want to lie in order to avoid pain, to avoid being punished, or avoid certain things happening. I get why people want to lie. But what I want to talk about in this video is why truth is personally important to me. See, I feel like if you know that somebody is willing to lie in order to promote their agenda, you know what I mean? If you know that somebody is willing to lie in order to avoid unpleasant circumstances, you can't trust them. And I feel that honesty is very important. I feel it's important to be honest. But then, George or somebody else will throw at me some scenario where, the Nazis ask you where the Jews are or something silly like that. And what they want, and they say, well, you in that situation would lie to save the lives of the Jews. And I'm like, well, I mean, first of all, honesty is so important to me that I don't want to lie, even to save somebody's life. And that strikes some people as profoundly immoral. George has actually said I'm immoral, for wanting to tell the truth and have people die. But I don't want to lie or have people die. And besides, there's always the option of not saying anything. You don't have to lie, but you don't have to tell the truth if you just say, "Hey, I have the right to remain silent," And this whole happiness versus truth thing has been weighing heavily on my mind recently because I had an interesting thought today while I was at work, and I have these interesting thoughts sometimes. And I was thinking, okay, supposing that we had proof that religious belief, people being a Christian or Muslim, caused good behavior, would it like, or for example, the belief in free will, like if we had actual proof that somebody believing that they were the author of their own actions, or religious belief that based on certain actions they go to heaven or hell. A lot of people have this idea. For example, religious people have this idea: you're a good person, you go to bliss in heaven. You're a bad person, you go to hell. And of course, there's logical problems with it. But here's a serious question that I want to ask anybody who watches this video. Now, first of all, I don't see evidence that it actually does promote more moral behavior for people believing this. But let's say it did. Let's suppose that everybody was vegan because they believed that if they ate meat, they were punished in an afterlife, or something like that. Like if you're a carnist, then you are tortured in factory farms yourself. Like, let's suppose that people believed that they would be punished in some afterlife. And it sounds a little funny, but it's not far off from what religions teach. So sometimes it's based on beliefs, sometimes it's on actions. But the real question is, do you think it's appropriate to lie to somebody? Would you lie to somebody and come up with a religion to make them believe something that's totally false just to promote good behavior? Would you do that? Another thing is, even if you wouldn't lie and like, for example, I wouldn't lie even in that situation, but how I feel personally is if a certain belief they had did lead to the better moral behavior, then I would not be inclined at all to, to try to convince them that that belief is false. I mean, I think, okay, here's what I think a lot of Christians and Muslims don't get, and a lot of other religious people don't get, is why do atheists challenge religion? Like, why does it bother atheists what that other people believe in God? Well, it's because of the belief system and the type of God that those people of those religions believe in that actually commands immoral acts and condones certain things. I mean, people know that rape and slavery and animal slaughter is not just allowed, but actually, like, the slaughter of animals particularly is commanded by their God in the Bible, as well as the slaughter of other humans, where God specifically told the Jews to go and kill whole tribes of people, whole cities. And so the reason people challenge religious belief is not because they really care what somebody believes by itself. It's about those beliefs, causing terrible behavior based on those beliefs. But what's interesting is if there was no harm of religion, if there was no harm of people believing something false, then it wouldn't be, like, I would still think that it was really tragic that they were delusional, but I wouldn't be upset about it. And the reason this is important, and the reason this has been on my mind lately, is I've been thinking about how George, he's a pantheist, and he still keeps trying to convince me and all the other co-hosts occasionally that God is the universe. And I've just been thinking about it. I don't know what it does for him, but I don't see a causal connection for it. First, I don't see how will that make how will that reduce suffering in the world if people just start referring to the universe as God? It doesn't. I don't see any way it does. But if it did, let's supposing that people all calling the universe God and saying we're all God, because God is the universe, we're part of the universe, we're God, like if everybody did that, and somehow in some magical way that made everybody vegan and made them stop reproducing and abolish the money system, the things that Poffo, my friend Poffo, talks about, those awesome solutions. Let's supposing that George's pantheism or Poffo's biopantheism, which is a little bit different, let's supposing that it actually brought about that. Would I promote their philosophy or worldview if it led to the behavior I want? No, I wouldn't. Because I still don't think that I would ever promote a worldview that I don't actually share. I would have to actually believe something, that it was true, before I would promote it. Because truth is important to me, even though it's not that important to some of the people I know. But I'll tell you one thing. If their philosophies or religions, as whatever you call their pantheistic beliefs, if it led to a better world, if I saw evidence that it created change that was positive and made people more compassionate, made everybody go vegan and reverse climate change and all that stuff, I just let them have it. I wouldn't ever challenge them again. Like, I would never tell George he's wrong about the universe God thing, really. And I wouldn't ever challenge their religions or philosophies. I'm not sure which they are because it's confusing to me. I wouldn't challenge it if I saw good behavior. But if somebody ever asked me, well, do you think that God is the universe? I'd like, no. Just call it the universe. I think that whole philosophy is bullshit, That's what I think, So I'd be honest with people when asked a direct question. But if I saw that their philosophies, were having positive benefits, I would just I wouldn't even discuss it with them. I just let them preach their sermons about their pantheistic stuff. And similarly, if I saw that Christianity created good moral behavior, which I don't see that, I really don't see that. It does according to their standard of morality taught by their religion. But according to actual real pleasure or pain caused as a result, the Christians cause just as much pain to people as atheists. It's just that I think that they would be better off if they weren't brainwashed by that religion, you know? They might actually do better. But if Christianity or Islam actually made everybody happier by believing it and it improved their actions, well, then I wouldn't challenge it. And I don't think any of the other atheists would either. There'd be no reason to challenge somebody and tell them their beliefs is wrong if it actually did lead to happiness. But at the same time, I feel like there would still be issues. You know, there would still be issues where atheists don't believe the religion and then their family gets hostile towards them because they don't want to go to church and they don't participate in their religious rituals, you know. So atheists still have a problem, even if they don't openly challenge religion. There's a lot of people who are secretly atheist, who don't buy into the whole religion that they were raised in. Whereas someone like me is just too outspoken, and so I'm just upfront why I don't believe things. But it gets me into a lot of trouble too. But, you know, anyway, I'm rambling on and on. But that's just what I'm thinking right now. Would you lie if you and make someone to believe something if it led to the behavior you desired for them to do? Or would you just let people keep believing something false if it led to good behavior? Or would you tell them that their belief was wrong? What would you do? I'm kind of curious about people's responses there, you know, and whatever. Bye.